Do you ever wonder what it's like to look into the eyes of evil? We get a glimpse of that today on rLounge. This OP's mother-in-law is evil incarnate. My mother-in-law says I use anxiety and PTSD as an excuse. Throwaway account. First time posting here and on mobile. And I apologize, I'm not the best writer. I've suffered from severe PTSD and anxiety for years from childhood trauma. One of my biggest triggers is people coming from behind me and touching me, especially around my waist. I've been in counseling for years to help, and I have let people know that this is a trigger and to please not do this. The cast: me, 27 female, hubby, 28 male, mother-in-law, 50 female, father-in-law, 52 male, brother-in-law, 29 male, sister-in-law, 6 female, and about 12 other kids, around 5 to 6. So on Saturday, we were at my in-laws to celebrate my sister-in-law's birthday. We were all having a good time, and I was enjoying being around the kids. All of a sudden, I felt someone grab my waist. I freaked out a bit, but managed to be brave and asked the kid to not do that again. About 10 minutes later, another kid grabbed my waist from behind, causing me to become a lot more stressed. I let my husband know what was going on, and he said that I should go sit for a while in the guest room to calm myself down. When I came back out, my sister-in-law came from behind and grabbed my waist. I began to cry because it was becoming too much for me, and I saw my brother-in-law at the end of the hallway laughing with my sister-in-law. This is the gist of the conversation. I don't remember exactly what was said. Why are you guys laughing?
We didn't know it would be so easy to make you cry. We're just having fun.
It's really stressful for me, and I've told you how much it stresses me out. I think we're going to go home. I went out to the front to grab my husband to leave, and my mother-in-law pulled me outside to talk. I thought she was going to try and calm me down, so I went. What happened? My guess is brother-in-law told the kids it's funny to grab my waist. They're just having fun. Why do you have to be so controlling? It's really stressful for me. You know about my PTSD. He's not respecting my boundaries. Every time you don't like what someone's doing, you say it's disrespecting your boundaries. That's not true. I've been going through counseling so that I can cope through my triggers, and you know why it triggers me. Do you see that you're using your anxiety as an excuse to manipulate people? They're kids, and they're just having fun. You don't need to cry about it. I don't feel safe here right now. My anxiety isn't an excuse, and it's not funny. I'm sorry, but I think we're going to leave early. We haven't even had cake. You can't leave. I went and found my husband and my father-in-law in the garage. They asked me if I really wanted to leave or if I wanted to just hang out with them. I decided to stay with them, and they set me up a spot with my back against the wall so that no one could come up behind me. I think it started a fight between my in-laws because my father-in-law was pissed. He's so understanding and protective of me about how everyone else was acting. Him and my hubby apologized to me, and I ended up having a lot of fun watching them work on their cars. I think I'll hang out there anytime we go over from now on. Bonus, I still got cake. Update. I'm going to talk to my husband in the morning about going no contact with everyone but father-in-law. I'm looking back and realizing that my husband has gone low contact without me even realizing. I've been trying so hard to bond with his mom and his sister, and he goes over with me and only sits in the garage with his dad, or goes out back to be in the garden. He's told me for a long time that we can go no contact, and it took this to finally break me. I'm probably going to make a few posts about the things mother-in-law and brother-in-law have done in the past to hurt me. Hubby and I have been making a list. Let's see what the community says. Pill17 wants to say, I'm so sorry that happened to you, OP. I was in counseling to deal with my anxiety about being grabbed, so I know what it's like when someone doesn't understand or doesn't respect your boundaries. By the way, not the a-hole. The OP responds, thank you. Yes, it's extremely difficult. If my teddy bear husband, whose love language is physical touch, can understand, other people who shouldn't be touching me without permission anyways can understand. I need to be made aware if someone is going to touch me before they do. I can deal with accidental brushings. I've gotten a lot better about hands on my shoulder, but my waist is just way too much for me still. I'm so sorry, OP. I don't think it's anyone's business to scold you about your own anxiety and how your body and mind reacts to certain stimuli. Despite all of this, it's super nice to hear how supportive your husband is. I think if your husband is willing to, it wouldn't hurt to pull back even more than you are from the family. It was disrespectful of your mother-in-law and brother-in-law to do that to you, and in turn, encourage the children that it was okay to do that to people. Selling all the baby stuff. I made a post a few weeks ago about how my brother-in-law used children to assault me, and my mother-in-law said I'm manipulative for being upset. We are currently no contact with everyone but father-in-law, and mother-in-law is losing her mind over it. Father-in-law let us know that he will deal with that and make sure our boundaries are kept from his end. I mentioned in one of the comments that I feel like an incubator for her future grandchildren. Anytime we get into a fight, she buys something really expensive for our nursery. Dear husband and I don't plan on having children for at least a few more years. She also grabs something small almost every time she goes shopping. We have an entire room full of baby stuff, mostly girls' items, that we don't have use for. I don't like most of it. Dear husband and I were thinking about what to do with it all, as every time I look at certain items, I remember the argument and how bad it got. I don't want them. I want to be able to pick out our own items when we decide we want children. I thought it would be rude to sell all of these things, but dear husband said we can sell them for a lot less than they're worth and still have enough to go on a nice vacation. I deserve it after all she's put me through. I agreed. So here I am, taking pictures and listing them. It's kind of frustrating. I wanted to take it all and give it back to her. He said I'd just get it all back as soon as I do get pregnant. Father-in-law even told me it's okay to sell them, but it just makes me feel weird, making money off of things she bought. I tried to donate them, but our local thrift store said they don't need any baby items, so I guess it's the only way to get them out of my house. ETA. Hey everyone, thank you for giving me the idea to call the women's shelter. I scheduled an appointment with them to come take a look at our stuff, but she let me know that they don't need the big items, just incidentals. The daycare said they don't accept donations, so I'm going to go ahead and sell what they don't take. Here's one reaction from the community, coming from No Mo Drama Please. Love that you're selling everything. I've started returning the things my mother-in-law buys my kids, some duplicate toys, books, and mostly clothes, which she buys too small or are really ugly, seasonally inappropriate. And I use the money to buy cute things for my kids that I do like, and that actually fit them. You'll love picking everything out and buying it when you're ready. People want to help, and I get that they like buying baby stuff, but you should have first pick of the styles, colors, themes you want for your future kids. Oh, the woman's shelter is a great idea. It's sort of weird to think that she's buying you baby things without actually knowing if you and your husband want children or even can have children. I think it's disrespectful of her to assume that all is going well for you two in that department. She seems to be crossing a line. Mother-in-law asked my mom to go to lunch. I want to start by thanking all of you for the advice at my last post. I was able to get in contact with the local shelter and give them a bunch of the small items I had gotten over the years. The woman who runs it put me in contact with the local social worker, and I found a few young ladies to take the rest of the items too. I'm so thankful to finally have that bedroom cleared out. My mother-in-law found out that I had gotten rid of all the baby stuff she had given me. I'm not sure how, but we live in a small town, so the gossip mill is always running. She called my mom yesterday hysterically, asking her to help her mend our relationship. She said she feels like we're rejecting her at every turn and wants to know why. She said she's willing to do anything to have us back in her life. My mom said she would think about it and get back to her. My mom then asked me if I was okay with this, and I told her it's up to her, but I'd rather not make her a middleman. She said it might be best to get a mother's perspective, and since they've been friends for years, maybe she can actually get her to see my side. I want to talk to dear husband about it before I give the green light, but I also feel like it's going to happen whether I like it or not. Am I crazy for feeling like this is not okay? Like, she should not have called my mom, right? Sometimes it's BS from the community says, she should not have called your mom. That's what psychologists call triangulation. From the article. Triangulation is a manipulation tactic where one person will not communicate directly with another person, instead using a third person to relay communication to the second, thus forming a triangle. It also refers to a form of splitting in, which one person manipulates a relationship between two parties by controlling communication between them. Triangulation may manifest itself as a manipulative device to engineer rivalry between two people, known as divide and conquer, or playing one person against another. If I were you, I'd ask mom to take a step back and let mother-in-law work things out with you like an adult. I think if you're not okay with her calling your mom, then it's crossing a line. It seems like she's just playing the victim a little bit. She definitely put herself in that situation by buying you the baby stuff in the first place. You don't even have a baby, so she just expects all the stuff to sit there and collect dust? You're pregnant. I'm so excited for my baby girl to come. Hi all. I'm on a mobile. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I posted anything about my in-laws. There's a lot going on behind the curtains right now, and I will update on that when I can. Legal stuff is hard. We have been no contact with mother-in-law and brother-in-law and low contact with sister-in-law for almost half a year. I will say after a month and a half-ish of hell, she had been respecting our boundaries. Until yesterday. I had my annual with my lady doctor, and my mother-in-law comes walking in for her appointment as I'm walking out. We're both cordial, said hello and goodbye. I thought nothing of it, as we have bumped into each other at the grocery store and at the gas station. I'm starting to hate small towns, and been very polite but not friendly. I got a call later in the day with my husband asking if everything went okay at my appointment. When I told him everything was fine, he got excited and asked if there was anything I needed to tell him. He got a bit disappointed when I said no and asked why. His mom called father-in-law as soon as she was done with her appointment and told him she saw me at the doctor and I was pregnant. At this point, I was pissed, but decided to just brush it off until after I was done with work. A little while later, I get a call at work. Mother-in-law is screaming into the phone.
"You're pregnant. I'm so excited for my baby girl to come. Do you think you can keep this from me?"
I'm not pregnant. Do not call me at my place of business.
"There's no other reason a woman your age goes to the OBGYN. You can tell me. We can finally be a family again."
I'm not pregnant. Do not call me. Goodbye. The nerve of this woman, not only to get my husband excited, but now half of the town thinks I'm pregnant. Almost every customer that's come into my store has congratulated me, and the disappointment on their face when I tell them I'm not is just heartbreaking. I don't even know what to do from this point. There's no more boundaries to put up. Without moving away and giving up both of our businesses, I can't get away from her. What can I do to make this woman realize that there can't be a relationship, ever? Update. I didn't have to do anything. Someone, I'm thinking my mom or father-in-law, told the right person what happened, and it's going around how awful she's treating me. I just had a customer come in and apologize to me about how mother-in-law has been treating me. This rumor mill is finally working in my favor. I can go back to being the happily not pregnant person I was before. The community has some thoughts, starting off with Blue Carnations 12. My husband's mother has issues. Bless her heart. Might work. OP. Is your significant other aware that his mother means you no good? The OP replies, I love this. It sounds so southern and I love it. Yes, he is very aware that his mother is no good. He was willing to go no contact well before I ever was. He's very supportive, and I'm honestly unsure of why he believed his mother at all. CJ Sin TX says, I'd be honest. I'm sorry. You were told something that isn't true, but thank you anyway. Sad voice, look down, shake head. If they say anything else, then be clear. I don't know why Mrs. Mother-in-law's last name is lying about something like that, and I'm sorry you got caught up in it. Very sad voice while looking down. Now she's the bad guy for lying and hurting you without saying it. Small town gossip can work for you too. You can make it clear she lied without saying it and let it backfire on her because now she looks like a witch. And they will love spreading that. The OP replies, oh, this is good. I've never thought about turning it around on her. Everyone in town already knows I don't talk to her, so why anyone is believing this woman is beyond me. Angel Chai 1500 says, can we talk about how she thinks a 27-year-old woman from your oldest post, or 28 if your birthday passed, shouldn't be going to gynos unless pregnant? Like, I'm in my late 20s and have PCOS. I need to see a doctor for my issues. What a loon. My goodness. It's funny how she mentioned that you were controlling earlier, but now it seems like she's very much trying to control the situation by making up tremendous lies. I'm sorry, OP. And pregnancy can be a very sensitive topic for people. The fact that she's trying to control the narrative here is shameful. She has no idea whether the two of you are actually pregnant and or are trying to be pregnant. Her behavior seems very insensitive. Mother-in-law bought me presents. I wish I wasn't back so soon. I'm on a mobile. For anyone who hasn't been following along, we have been no contact with my mother-in-law for almost half a year due to her defending her abusive son. I also finally had the courage to get rid of all the baby stuff that had accumulated since my wedding, donating some to a shelter and some to new mamas who need it. Now my mother-in-law thinks I'm pregnant. I am most definitely not. I came home today and found my porch riddled with Amazon packages. I called hubby to find out if he participated in a drink in Prime. Unfortunately, he had not. They were all addressed to me. I started opening some of the smaller stuff, only to find bottles, bath toys, clothes, onto the bigger packages of stuff, including a swing, a bassinet, and a pack and play. But at this point, I'm furious. I already know who's done it. I can't anymore. I move everything inside and catalog it. 93 of the most pink things I've ever seen. I don't even like pink, so that's not how I would decorate my nursery. I call father-in-law and ask him to check his bank account. This becomes important later. Nothing has come out of his account or the business account. Good. Mother-in-law paid for it completely on her own. I broke my no contact. I called mother-in-law and said, don't talk, just listen. I'm not pregnant. I don't appreciate you sending anything to my house, but especially not anything related to a baby. Every time you send something to me, from now on, you will be making a Mama's Day. I will be donating it to girls in need or to foster families. I don't care what it is. If it comes out of father-in-law's money, it will go back. If it doesn't, it will be donated. Do not speak to or about me or dear husband anymore. because I can make our situation permanent. Get help. She tried to speak a few times before I hung up, but I just calmly kept speaking. I'm done with all the stupid games she's trying to play. I was able to get in contact with a few mamas and foster families in our area to donate this to, and we'll be doing the same with anything she sends in the future. I honestly don't care if it's baby related or clothing or whatever. If she sends it, it goes. Thank you for listening to my rant. I'm so glad I found this community. Celtic Lady 47 wants to say, I'm sorry that she's continuing to contact you when she knows you're no contact. You have stated your boundaries, made things very clear to everyone, and did so while being polite. Kudos to you. I don't know if I could have been so polite. And there's nothing else to do. You are strong and doing everything that you can to have a peaceful and happy life. If she does send a package again, just think, oh cool, another donation, etc. And don't let her, take up any more of your free rent in your head. DOP replies, thank you so much for this comment. It's so nice to hear that I'm doing the right thing right now. I'm trying to find the blessings in this. She's given me a whole new community. My entire friend group is childless, and I've never really been around babies, except sister-in-law when she was little and cousins during the holidays. And now I'm making mom friends. I'm gaining this bigger community that I'm going to be able to go to for advice and such. It's kind of wonderful what our no contact with her has given me. I almost feel sorry for her and everything she's going to miss. Almost. Get help. Couldn't have said it better myself, OP. It's all my fault. So I've been waiting to do this post for a while, but we had many things to take care of first. Mother-in-law was just served her divorce papers today, and I revived 12 voicemails on my work phone about how it's all my fault. He has been meeting with the attorney for the past 6 months to get all of his ducks in a row, including selling his business to my dear husband and officially retiring. The attorney says he has a really good case for getting full custody of sister-in-law. I'm so excited for all of us to finally be done with her. I know this is going to be long and nasty, but we're all prepared for it and just can't wait for it to be over. A deleted account had this to say, if you can, perhaps send them to him. See if that can all be used to show she's irrational, hostile, and potentially abusive even towards adult children, extended family, and over-involves them in situations they have no business in. I also would make an effort to send them to him if there's some things send in regards to sister-in-law custody. Sure, a lot might not be able to be used. However, the attorney can work that out and perhaps find something in there to further the custody situation and the like. You'd be shocked sometimes how little things can push in the favor of someone like your father-in-law. The OP replied, thank you. Yes, we're able to send the recordings to the attorney. We won! Hello everyone, it's been a while. Go and read my previous post for more information. This one is super long, so if you're just here for the ending, read the last paragraph. TW, mention of CSA and ED. Obligatory I'm on a phone, so sorry for any weird formatting. Since my last post, we've been going through major court custody and divorce battles. Our side was father-in-law, dear husband, and myself. Mother-in-law was essentially on her own because brother-in-law didn't come around, so she doesn't mess up his career with her crazy, and eventually saw our side. Poor sister-in-law was in the middle, and part of that is our fault until we realized we needed to do better. Anytime I mention we with custody is because father-in-law lives with us, and we help a lot with sister-in-law while she is here. He definitely plays an active role though. We're just a little village. Dear husband and I got a protective order early on due to her crazy. Guess who broke the order a lot? And thank you Reddit for teaching me to call every single time. About 3 weeks after getting the order, we were back in court and she was charged with contempt. We didn't hear from her after that, and luckily she had no flying monkeys left. No one in our small town wanted to be associated with her, including brother-in-law. We had sister-in-law to ourselves for a whole week, and we noticed small changes during that time. Sister-in-law wasn't hostile toward any of us at the end of that week, and all of her homework had been turned in. Unfortunately, we got put back to every other week as soon as mother-in-law was out, and that was never enough time to help bring her around, even though we were pushing. Bad on us. Fast forward to spring break, and we finally have a week. She's a shell of the little girl she was before, and we couldn't figure it out. She was quiet and just had no sass like she usually does. I took her swimsuit shopping and she just cried the entire time. After, I noticed she wasn't eating most of her dinner and just crying anytime she had to change. I called my mom and was so scared because this is how I acted after being SA'd as a child. My mom came over and talked to her, and I'm still literally shaking while writing this. She said her mom is making fun of how fat she is. She's literally the weight she should be for her age and height. We called our lawyer and he asked the judge to allow her to go to a psychologist. The judge did that and also called CPS. Unfortunately, CPS did not find anything wrong with mother-in-law having sister-in-law. So back to every other week. Between spring and summer breaks, sister-in-law lost 12 pounds. She was skin and bones and still fit into her summer clothes from the previous summer. Mind you, she's 6, almost 7 at this point. We took her to the doctor, who actually admitted her to the hospital. Our lawyer filed for emergency custody and we won. Sister-in-law was admitted to an ED clinic about 7 hours away for 2 months. So father-in-law stayed there and we visited them twice in that time. Mother-in-law never visited her, even though she was allowed by the courts, invited by father-in-law, and encouraged by the facility. Even brother-in-law visited for a couple of days. She was home a couple of weeks before school started, and so much healthier. My mom, sister, and I took her school clothes shopping, and she was still hesitant, but her sass was finally coming back. Mother-in-law went to therapy and was granted every other week so long as she had a supervisor. A few of the ladies from church got approved and took shifts to allow this. About 2 months into this arrangement, the ladies started to quit. Mother-in-law tried to get her boyfriend approved to no avail and had to have a CASA arrangement so she could have 3 hours 2 times a week. Crazy came out, and mother-in-law tried to kidnap sister-in-law with the CASA lady right there. Unfortunately, we don't have a center for them to go to in our town, so it was at the park with easy access to cars. When the judge asked why, she said that we were in a cult and she had to save her daughter. Somehow, she was still allowed to have her visits. That is until Christmas. Mother-in-law comes to her visit completely blitzed and proceeds to ask what sister-in-law got for Christmas. When sister-in-law told her what we got her, she told her she's an ungrateful brat who deserves to die with the rest of us. That she gave her everything and sister-in-law still chose her dad. Sister-in-law had no choice. The courts decided that. The CASA lady got her out of there as quickly as she could and brought her home. Mother-in-law called the cops and told them we were kidnapping her child. She was stripped of any visitation with her child, court-appointed counseling, court-appointed AA, and the possibility of an hour-long monitored phone call in 6 months if she complies. The final divorce hearing was 2 weeks ago, and mother-in-law gave up all rights so long as father-in-law doesn't come after her for child support. She said that our demands were too great for her. We are currently looking for a larger home for all of us, as I'm finally expecting that baby mother-in-law predicted, who thinks they will be a girl. Father-in-law had to give mother-in-law 15% of his assets and half of what the house sells for. It's going to be a long road to recovery for all of us, but I think we might make it through. Father-in-law is currently dating a lovely woman, and I hope to call her my mother-in-law one day. Let's see what the community thinks. Zealous Ideal Chart 60 says, "Poor little sister-in-law. I hope prolonged therapy helps her. Yay to the win of getting mother-in-law out of the picture." DOP replies, "She will definitely be in therapy for a while. She deserves every ounce of love and body positivity that we can give her. I also plan on using this pregnancy to show her my body is changing, but it's a beautiful change, even if I don't feel like it every day." Whoa. Was not expecting it to end this way. It's so heart-wrenching to hear about your sister-in-law, and the fact that your mother-in-law encouraged the kids to do that to you now makes total sense. I'm sorry that you and your sister-in-law had to experience a woman like her for so long. She definitely seems off her rocker. What a terrible way to treat a child. Although this is horrendous, it's nice to know that you were able to aid in getting your sister-in-law out of there and into a positive and loving environment. Here's to a brighter future. What are your thoughts? And thank you for joining us today on rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to say regarding today's content, share that with us in the comments below.